Today we're going to talk about tank coils. A lot of people have heard about the 10-meter problems with burned wires, the burned white wires on the tank coil. Well, there it is right there. This isn't terrible. I've seen a lot worse. This wire here is just barely held down though. They eventually will burn right off. This coil possibly could be salvaged, but I just replaced it. Here's another one. It's not that bad, except as you can see, the right there is kind of fused together. A couple of the coils. Somebody, I don't know if they did that taking it off or what. I got this already disassembled. But whoever did do it, did it the right way, and they took it off with the wafer. A lot of folks just go ahead and cut them off, which is absolutely the worst thing you can do. All those have to be soldered back onto the wafer if you're going to salvage it. And this one here really doesn't look that bad, but whoever cut this off didn't do anybody any favors. They should have took the wafer with it. Today I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to disassemble one from a parts chassis I got sitting down here. It's pretty dirty. It's just a parts chassis. This is the way I got it. But the tank coil is right here. The tubes are already out of it, obviously. Covers are off. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take this tank coil off, at least the way I do it. Maybe someone else has a better way. I don't know. But the way I do it works good for me. If you got a better way, hey, feel free to mention it in the comments. No problem. I'm always open to learning how to do stuff faster and more efficiently. So the first thing we're going to do is take this choke off. The relay's already out of it. Tubes are out, like I said. We'll take the choke off, and then we will leave it mounted for right now until we do the work underneath the chassis. So let's go ahead and start taking this choke off to start with. All right. I don't know if this tank coil is actually any good until I get it off. Inspect it, test it a little bit more. Sorry about that. But we'll go ahead and get it off anyway, just for demonstrations. So we'll go ahead and unsolder the wires from the choke. There's one wire, and then there's a capacitor. So, with both of those unhooked, these are already unhooked obviously. There's normally a wire, or I think it's 1,000 picofarad, a big square capacitor that goes here, here, here. It's already gone. Someone's already took that off. So we'll go ahead and take that choke off. Is I always put stuff back together in case I might need parts in the future. I don't know if this choke's any good. It's looking pretty cruddy, but I'll set that aside in case we need something off it later. So now here's the wafer right here. It's attached. It's soldered in like this. Now a lot of folks maybe want to try to unsolder, change it a different way. This is the way I have found it works best for me. Again, you may find a better way. You might not like to do it this way, but this is the way I do it. Another thing you might want to set up before you get to taking it off is your rotation. Now, if you can see, tab right there. Coincide with that one. There's usually one up here it coincides with, but I don't see it. Kind of dirty. And let's see where this one is right there. Alright, so you got a tab there. You got a tab there. Got a tab there. So this can be put back together 180 degrees out of phase, and that'll cause you a world of trouble. So you don't want to do that. We'll show that later on, but I always set it up so my tab's right there and make sure it's there when I put it back together. Because that center can move once you get it apart, like this. And it's just slotted, so you can possibly go back 180 out of phase, and then you're going to have to pull it all off and do it all over again. So, just a heads up. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is start unsoldering this stuff. This usually would go here. It's already come apart, so it's put in here. So we've got to take off this coil spring here and these two capacitors. This wire here goes down to the coil, and it should be attached. It doesn't need to come off, you leave it attached. But this one's undone too. It can come apart when you move unsoldering stuff. I guess it would probably come unhooked. So it's unhooked already. So, let's see if we can get this spring off. It's coil. You want to be careful because you're going to want to reuse that again. So that comes off like that. And then this line connecting these two together, this piece of wire has to come off. Just bend it out of the way. There's probably a better way to do it. That's the way I do it. And then bend it back in and straighten it once it's in. Alright. So for now, that stuff's unhooked. There's also a wire that's right here, one of your 10-meter wires, I believe it is. It's hooked to this second wafer back. You can see that. That needs to come off too. Like so. There. So we have that disconnected. We can stay on here. I always take this strap off because when you go to get this, moving this and wiggling it to get out of the way, it gets in the way. Now normally you would unsolder it, but this here's a junk radio chassis, so we're going to use this strap. I think for time's sake, let me see if I can cut it out of the way here. Like so. Alright, so we're about ready to get into the fun part here. So you got to take this bracket off here. These two nuts hold it. I don't have a wrench that size. I'm going to have to invest in one, I guess, because I've changed out a few of these lately for some reason. I'm going to have to get a little socket set or something to do this the right way. But don't laugh. I do this the wrong way. These usually aren't that tight, as you can see. Just go ahead and loosen them up the best way possible. Like so. Same with this bottom one, which is more fun actually than the top one. Same thing here. That's out of the way. So, let's see if we can get that washer off there without losing it. And this will come right off. Like that. And now, let's see, that wire is soldered back to the coil, so that's alright. This main wire here, of course. Get too crazy. So, this up just a whisker. Alright, so now that's loose. I think everything is ready to come out. Two screws. Alright, so now you can wiggle it and kind of try to wiggle that wafer carefully off at the same time. It's off, and then you just pop it out complete like that. This one doesn't really look too bad. The wires are nice. They're not all burned up. It's got the older style insulation on it. You want to look for these tabs to make sure they're not burned off. Sometimes you'll see those burned off. I'll get it cleaned up and give it a better inspection. But again, this turns inside there, so you want to make sure you have this orientated when you put it back together with your tab in the right spot. Otherwise you're not going to be happy, trust me. Alright, so that's it for part one. Right now I don't have a radio to put one of these in. I've changed a couple here in the last month, but I don't have nothing right now that needs one. So I'll call this part one. There's some solder down there. Make sure we get that off of there. I don't know if that just happened or what. That's going to have to go. And then if I get a radio to put one of these in, we'll make another video and call it part two. But it's just the reverse. Stick it in here like so. Get it in this format. Get it back on in here. Wiggle this back on. Put your 2 screws in. Solder everything back up. You're good to go. Alright, thanks for watching.